Eldest Boy!
Welcome back. My name is Nick. I have Taylor here with me, and we just finished watching the season finale.
Serious?
And I have to admit, I was wrong.
What? The series finale, Nick.
Sneaky
it's
Greg
all over.
did not get in, and it's fine. I'm
Did.
just happy one of the siblings didn't get it.
Yeah, I forget I should have looked at my prediction, but I don't know if it was this. I don't know. Well, you said some people saw this coming.
Yeah. So, spoilers, just in case. If you haven't watched the episode, I would highly recommend watching the episode before we reveal who actually won. So obviously we didn't state any names. You just know Greg didn't win at this point. But just so you know, we have a Cousin Greg shirt at thebestnerdyshirts.com. Every comment is interested to win any shirt from thebestnerdyshirts.com. We're going to do a live stream at the first Tuesday of every month announcing the winner of the previous month. So subscribe, comment, and we're going to jump into the season finale. And there were some high moments and some low moments for the Roys.
Yeah. Lowest of the low moments.
So there was a thing on Twitter, right, that you were reading about Tom Wamsgams, the baseball player.
Yeah, Bill Wamsgams.
Bill, yes. And the whole, he's the only player ever in playoffs to get a triple out, right?
Yeah, a unassisted triple play in the World Series. Yeah. So
we witnessed it again in the World Series of
I think
trading.
the stakes are higher. The World Series is just like a made up thing. There's no, you just get, bragging rights, but this is a little more than that.
And then we highly recommend you watch the after show on this one, talking about the director's process and writing process on why he chose and different reasons for certain things. But we're going to jump into the episode.
Well, I just want to ask generally if it met your expectations. Like, how do you feel?
I didn't want any of the siblings to get it. I didn't think any of them really deserved it. I mean, everyone's bad. Like, Greg's bad, Kendall's bad, Roy's bad, Tom's bad.
Yeah, I mean,
Lucas Matson's bad. Everyone in power is
totally
bad. Don't get me wrong. It's Always Sunny meets the real world. Like, everyone's bad. You don't want anyone to win, but you're just around to watch the fire burn. You just watch the house burn, and you're just like, it's like the news, just watching all this stuff. Like, what's gonna happen next?
It literally is. They do that. That's their main thing.
And it was one of those moments, man, they did a good job pacing it out, like who was gonna win. And I know we're jumping all the way to the boardroom scene now. I'm sorry, we're jumping around, but once Shiv left the room, I loved that Shiv left the room like in a panic like that. And then like Kendall's true colors, I mean, we kind of saw their true colors building up to this, but you really see Kendall's true colors. There are children fighting in a room. It's just like they're nothing like their father, like in a sense of power scale. Well, then again, it could all just be a show for Logan. Maybe Logan was that child at a younger age. Only Ewan would know like truly who he was at a younger age. But they were kids, man. Oh, just squabbling, fighting, and beating each other up. Oh gosh, I was like, don't you hit Shiv, she's pregnant. And also she, I was just like, don't, be careful. Like when he was like going off, I was like, Shiv, get out of the room. You leave now, Shiv. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. And I think I have mentioned it in another episode, in another one of these recaps, is like, I feel like I can never, and then this is what made Succession so good, is like I could never predict what was gonna happen next. But when it did happen, it just felt like, of course, that was like, it just felt like the inevitable thing. Like even small plot lines, how they played out, just totally worked. Not to be like a Succession simp or anything, but it's like, I just feel like it is orchestrated so well. And like, it really hit me when when Kendall in the end, like we're talking about that fight between the siblings, says that he thinks that this is all he could do. It's like, yeah, that was what all of this was about, was that he can only really, that's the only thing he can be. And I think it shows the universal truth that we all know, that like children of like rich people, of like billionaires especially, they can't ever replicate. And that's what Jesse Armstrong kind of says, is like, that's the tragedy inherent in like his predicament and how he was, you know, where he finds himself is like, you can never be like your dad. Like, it's just not possible. You can't.
Yeah. It's a hard-hitting truth, right? It's one of those, like, you can do your own startup. It'll probably never be as big as your dad's business. It could be successful, but would it ever be as great? It's almost like a sports player. Like, if Michael Jordan's kid was to ever play basketball, Jordan's
that's happening
kid,
with LeBron right now.
Well, yeah, LeBron, but like right now, I mean, LeBron could totally be the GOAT. He's not retired yet. I mean, he is talking about it. Let's not throw it out there. But like, everyone looks at Jordan, right? You know, everyone looks at Jordan. He's the man. None of his kids really ever even played like much college ball either. It was just that expectation.
And that's what they'd be known for if they were. If it would always just be about how that's who they are. Yeah, definitely.
So it's very tough. I mean, look at Bush Sr. and Jr. No, I'm just kidding. No, just joking.
Well, yeah. It's true though. You can't have one without the other. Yeah, and that's like, I think too, when I was talking about right after the episode, I was thinking about how Tom is kind of like the self-made one among these people. Like, he did come from nothing, but I think that he was ultimately chosen because he's just gonna do whatever
basically what
Mattson says.
Yeah, what Shiv told Mattson. She's
like,
you want to be
that
honest?
was the end for her.
And then she gave him the answer he wanted to hear because Shiv had too many ideas. Shiv was, you know, he didn't need another idea person, which happens, you know, too many ideas, it just gets, you know, too busy, and then he'd probably end up fighting with her more than actually just getting results out of her. You know, it's like, do this. She'll be like, no, I don't like that candidate. I don't like his viewpoints. Are you really going to do this? Where Mattson's bottom line is probably the dollar. And then one thing too that stuck out about Tom was that when he sat down and he had that meal with Kendall, and he's like, Kendall, you never won. Your dad always wins, kind of thing. And I think that just like stuck with him it's true. Kendall's never going to win. And it's just that, like, he's just right on the head. Tom called it. And I think by accepting Greg, I think he understands, because that's a move Tom made. No, that's a move Tom made against Shiv at the end of last season. He betrayed Shiv for higher seat. And I think at some level, Tom respects Greg for doing that. For like playing the game like he did.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that kind of like the sycophant people who will just do what the higher up person wants them to do is like they're gonna win in the end, you know, at least in this sort of like structure in the context of the company and stuff. And I don't know if it's really just like an end all be all win for Tom, because I think could easily be, as easily as a CEO can just be like, I mean, the CEO can just be kind of like kicked around. Yep. So I mean, I think it's not like an ultimate win for him or anything.
No, exactly. It happened with Disney. They fired their CEO on a Sunday night because the numbers were bad, and they brought back the old CEO. So like, it can definitely happen. We've seen it in real life recently. Just instantly release the CEO, like, because of numbers and stuff like that.
Yeah, because they're just like they were saying that when Jerry was the temporary CEO, they're kind of just like the person who steps out in front of the, you know, like the outside world. They're not even really they're kind of just like a face, I guess. Yeah.
And I love puppet. Exactly. And I love the power pose Mattson did on the table. I almost think that was like a Logan pose. I think we've seen Logan do that in the in one of the posters, where he's like pressing his fingers against the table like that, like leaning forward.
It reminded me of like a football thing, like ready.
Like a huddle. Like,
but speaking of Logan, did you feel? Oh my God, that scene when the tape Tom recording? Tells her when they're in Logan's house, apartment, whatever, and he tells Shiv that it's him. When she blows up, it was like she was doing a Logan impression. It was just like all Logan.
Yeah, it's true.
But wow, that was a great scene. That was just like at the point in the episode where you just like can feel like the axis like turning. Wow.
And then some interesting things we found out in this episode. Greg makes 200K.
Oh my gosh, like, didn't I ask how much? Remember that one time I was like, well, how much could he really make?
Yeah.
It's like they told us. Yeah, and that checks out. I actually think that's like truly for being the executive assistant to like someone so high up, that actually seems like fine.
Yeah.
Like not even like that much. But yeah, he was saying he might get 40. But yeah, of course, Greg and Tom end up together in the end. I don't think that the fans could take it if it went any other way.
The breakup happened.
People would be beside themselves.
Disgusting brothers broke up. One thing I gotta say, I know Greg did not win it. He had some sneaky moves. I thought he was using his head by recording through Google Translate to get some kind of information and stuff like that. So, I mean, he could have been doing that the whole time, leveraging information to Kendall too, and it's just like he kept leveraging spot.
Oh, that's true. That could be telling you how he was so in the know. Like he just knew. That's a good point. He probably has done that a ton while just being around Mattson.
And definitely relaying info. I love how Mattson called him out as Judas.
I know.
He's like, oh, hey, I'm Greg.
Jesus and his disciples. even Judas is in the room. There we go.
Okay. Well, just...
Poor
Greg.
Hey, he didn't end up back at the amusement park, which I would have been fine with too. If he would have ended up back at the amusement park as a mascot, I would have been fine. But
hey, you never know. He could get there. He could get back to that point.
And then we have the Kendall is king sequence. So we get the info that Shiv is being replaced. They don't know by who, but the information's backed and it's all backed up and all that stuff. And then they kind of determine out of the three siblings who would be the best. And they both were, all three of them were guaranteed the spot from their father.
Yeah. Wasn't that wild?
Yeah. It's all talk. He probably guaranteed it to everyone. Frank at one point, and
I know, seriously. Well, how heartbreaking is it now looking back, having seen the whole episode of like him telling Kendall that he could be the CEO since he was 7. So of course Kendall's gonna think that there's only one thing in the world that he can do. That's really sad.
Thank you, Logan, for messing up Kendall's life. All the kids' lives, I guess. It's basically what the writer said. It's a tragedy. That was the idea of the whole show. It's a tragedy. If it was a comedy, Greg would have won. It's a tragedy.
If it was a comedy, it would have been over a long time ago.
And it's true though, because like I guess they're messing with us because tragedies in Shakespeare never have weddings, but the happy endings always have weddings, right? In Shakespeare's writing. Weddings is always for happy endings. So you kind of have both. You would always have a wedding and then you have tragedy, wedding and tragedy. So it's kind of like they were messing with you of what the outcome was going to be, positive or negative. So we definitely got that vibe, the roller coaster vibe. He just needed one more vote, which was Shiv. She walks out of the room.
She was the last vote.
Yeah. And she just couldn't do it. So if Shiv and Roman sat differently, it might have been a different ending.
I know.
Because if she wasn't the last vote. But I don't know. Maybe it's so interesting. I
think she would have still been drawn. I think something interesting that I just thought of is that it's almost like this is also what's in the best interest of her. I think all of them know that it's really the best interest for them not to be in charge.
Yeah.
Like that's the kind of internal struggle that they are dealing with. But I think this is also probably in the best interest of her imminent child.
And also her chance to still be in charge through Tom.
Or at least be involved, you know.
To have some
powerful, be important.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She didn't look super happy at the end in the car.
Take what you can get though.
But yeah, exactly. And then one thing I thought that was interesting too, you made a good point how all of them kind of knew deep down they probably shouldn't be in charge. And that scene where Kendall was basically explaining why Roman shouldn't be in charge, and it's hard for him to say no and let go. It was the same thing for Kendall. He had the hardest time to say no, and his was the most extreme releasing of the power.
That
he
was just so messed up what Roman said about his kids. I like can't get over that. I'm like, why would you say that? Oh my gosh. But I think it's because he was so mad that that was his release of getting out, that they blocked him from doing it, even though he didn't want to do it. Lots of psychological stuff going on.
Yeah. But you know what? At the end of the day, they're all billionaires.
Yeah.
And they
right?
made even more money from the original deal.
Yeah. And that's what I was thinking with Stewie. I'm like, well, Stewie's obviously lying to them. Like, or I was just waiting for like that shoe to drop.
Oh.
But at the end, when he shakes hands with Tom, it's like, oh yeah, well, Stewie's going to win either way. Like
they have nothing to lose, because no matter what, they're still heads of the company. If they lose, or if they have to sell, they win. If they keep the company, they also win, because they still have money invested in the company. So it's very easy to say yes.
Paid out.
But I mean, Frank, I think I think everyone voted. I mean, I think they voted right. I think they should have got rid of the company or gave it to Greg. But I'm always going to throw that in there.
It's the same outcome either way.
Yeah, you can flip Greg or Tom. They both would have done whatever Mattson told them to do.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yep, exactly. And then another thing I wanted to talk about. So in the video they watched at the table, the one of Logan, and when they were seeing it was filmed as a square. That was bugging me. Like, why was it a square on the TV? I'm like, that means, did they film it upright and then just the middle part is cut off from the TV because they try to play it for her? I was just curious, like, who films in a square format for video? Anyway, I was just like, what is going on there? I don't know if
anyone else thought of that, but like, thank you for that perspective.
This isn't some old tape, 4x6 framing. Anyways, on that, yeah.
Well, on that subject, what do you think they were thinking while watching that? Was it, because at first I thought, are they wishing that they could have been there? Like, do they regret the kind of way things ended terms wise with Logan? Like what were your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think they felt left out. Like they missed out on his last days because they saw everyone around the table hanging out with him, having fun. Surprised nothing was mentioned about Carrie, because Carrie was definitely involved, right? That's her name, right? Carrie. Yeah. She was definitely like close to Logan in that last moment, in the very last moments. There was no resolve other than they're like party 3 or whatever. And they looked over and you see Carrie like on the couch waiting to go through the stuff with the stickers. And I love how Connor went through first. But to get back to the video, I just think they were feeling regret of not being there, kind of thing. And the way Kendall was framing it as Mattson killed Dad, it could have been a combination of Mattson and also them for the whole deal and them. So it could have been a combination of things, and a combination of bad healthy habits of eating probably a lot of burgers and not enough veggies for Logan.
It all came together in this very tragic way.
We never found out if Carrie was pregnant. If there was
I guess
a kid.
Technically that could still be a thing.
I don't know what that even means though.
Wonder.
Never know what that means. Nothing was.
I think it just means the lesson to learn from there is you got to get it. You got to get something legal. You got to get in there. You got to have some. If you want anything, you got to make sure that
it's in writing.
You got to have it in writing, because man.
Yeah, and make sure he doesn't cross out your name. Nothing came about with the cross out underline paper.
Yeah.
So they made a big stink about it, but nothing came out about it. And then, the Mattson deal. We saw the moment when Mattson got mad and he started yelling.
Oh, that was so good.
It was a good moment.
All-time Succession.
Yeah.
Like 2 minutes or montage.
Yeah, exactly. That was awesome. And then, the awkward hug with Kendall and Roman before they go in for the vote, where he reopens the scar.
Yeah.
I don't know if that was a visual thing of him reopening the wound that Roman had.
I'm sure it's that. I think he wanted to like feel pain, kind of like how he needed to get hit in the face while he was feeling so sad. It's just kind of like, we know that some wires are crossed in his brain with emotions and stuff. So I just saw something that says Shiv has finally become her mother, destined to be the unhappy wife of the powerful CEO.
Wow.
Too real.
Dang. That is a little too real. I mean, that's everyone kind of got their sad ending, I guess.
Or just like where they were always meant to end up. Like I loved the Roman just kind of doing a little Roman smirk at the bar, kind of being like, well, this is just my default, you know. I'm always, like you said, I'm always going to be a billionaire, and I'm just like this guy now, and that's fine, I guess. You kind of are free from having to deal with all this.
I mean, it didn't seem like they had fun at all running the company, just the two of them. The brothers.
Yeah.
I can't imagine them doing that even longer.
I know.
Yeah. I don't know if they were built for it, like their pop. Any other fun things or things you noticed? Oh, we can talk about the Kendall is King scene in the kitchen. The blending
licking
of the smoothie. Cheese. Yeah, licking the cheese.
Sorry, Peter. Don't lick Peter's cheese. Oh my god, that is
cheese.
Wearing the crown. And the last happy moment they'll all have together. Because I honestly thought Kendall wasn't going to take the elevator down. I thought something tragic was going to happen to Kendall.
I know. And it's like, I feel a lot of shows would do that. And that's what makes Succession different. Is like when they were going into the water at night, I'm like, I have consumed television for 30 years. Like, this cannot end well. We are halfway through the episode. But no, it's like, that would be cheap. You know, you got to have like the brutal, what would actually happen, you know, not. And
I liked how he had Logan's bodyguard with him.
I know.
And I think it was maybe it's one of those things where he's like, hey, you have to watch me for the rest of my life. Like, you know, as a safety net.
Or even I wonder if Logan told him that he needs to watch him like that.
That would have been a nice gift.
Yeah.
That would have been a nice parting gift from his dad, I guess. To always watch after his son. And then hopefully he'll become a good father. Now he has time to actually be a father if he really wants to be one. I guess we'll see. He can be a different father from his father.
Right.
Still a billionaire, but he has time and love he can share with his kids. But gosh.
Yeah, we'll see if that happens.
I am sad it's over. I'm also glad it's over. It's glad we had an ending to the story. It wasn't a Game of Thrones ending. It was a solid ending. Tom.
It wasn't The Sopranos.
It wasn't it wasn't The Sopranos. Saw just enough of Matsson in the episode. I loved how it was more focused on the siblings, the people who counted. It wasn't like you were spending a lot of time with Frank and other members of the board and stuff. It was just the siblings being at their mom's house. Like they actually pulled them away for a legit reason for Roman. And they were able to just be within the family. And yes, you get your Greg and Tom moments, which are always fun and good. But it was, I mean, that dinner sequence with Tom and then what Matsson was saying to him about Shiv and stuff. And he was just like, yeah.
Oh my gosh.
It's like, dude,
I was like watching that like this.
You just got the job, dude. You just got the job for being the perfect.
Oh my gosh.
Yes, man. The acting was outstanding for all 4 seasons. The writing was great. The cinematography was great. The colors were fantastic. Camera work, you name it, the show nailed it. HBO always does such a good job. Comment down below what you guys liked, disliked, enjoyed. You're sad about Greg losing. I know. You can put that down in the comments below, you know. Everyone can cry.
But he retains his salary, so it's okay. He'll be fine.
But for the ones that have predicted Tom, good job. Amazing. We're not worthy. We're not
Show
worthy.
yourselves.
Yes. Go eat some, I don't know what Tom would eat, but some fancy shrimp at a fancy restaurant or something. Or where's he early? Like he was like into weird birds. What was the meal he ate with Greg? It was like that tiny little bird or whatever.
Yeah, it's just rich people food. Just go eat rich
go
people
eat
food.
Some rich people food. He's going to be rich for a little longer in his life. So he's happy and he has a kid on the way.
He'll always have Shiv. Yeah, he's bound to her for at least 18 years. So good for him.
And on that note, go to thebestnerdshirts.com. Get your cousin Greg's shirt. Wear it nice and proud for the world. Yeah, we'll see on that. We're gonna be looking at different shows to watch. Right now, we are covering Unicorn Warrior. I know it's an animation, and it's Gendy. He also did Primal, which is a fantastic animated series. There's like hardly any talking. It's all this, but this is very much 1920s animation. So we like HBO Max. We're definitely gonna be covering HBO Max shows going forward
Nick,
in the future.
it's just Max.
Oh, sorry, Max. That's right. The update, Max, which is with
Get it
Discovery.
right.
Oh my gosh, it was so weird going on there and seeing like Deadliest Catch. I was like, what?
Oh no, how about Dr. Pimple Popper?
Yeah, I was like, no, don't mess up, don't mess up. I love Max, don't mess it up. But I'm not happy about the reality shows on there. But I was like, BattleBots? On that note,
well, you know, they have to get the money to make the Succession, so you know, do what you got to do.
And all the Game of Thrones stuff coming out too. They just released a trailer for the Hedge Knight and all this other stuff that they're working on for Game of Thrones. So definitely subscribe. We're covering a lot of different shows here. And yeah, comment down below other shows you think we would like and enjoy. We're here for the ride. We're here to watch and then talk. And we'll see you on the next AsArt. Woo! Tommy Boy. Tommy Boy for the win. Tommy Boy. Good job.